Today, members of the Springfield Fire Department honored fallen firefighters from the department's 231-year history.
Western Mass News reporter Reagan Stoddard reports after attending today's ceremony.
Four bells rang to honor 26 fallen Springfield firefighters killed in the line of duty. Also recognizing firefighters that passed away from cancer and retirees who have died.
When we're all running away, they're running in. So I think that they should be very valued in our city and know that they really are heroes.
Families and friends joined hands for those who have fallen and those currently serving. Shanchika Clark showing her support for her husband, Private Keith Clark, an active Springfield firefighter.
So as a wife, I am constantly praying for my husband, and not just him, the entire fire department, just all over the world. And I am always so grateful to God when he gets home nice and safely. And
Private Kenneth Korzik, the Honor Guard commander who is behind the project, said this ceremony allowed the department and community to recognize the history of those fallen firefighters and the Springfield Fire Department.
It will show me a whole lot more and a lot of other things to firefighting. And some of the stories that these guys had, it's amazing how something so tragic you can learn a whole lot from.
The monument, a stature of bravery, sacrifice, and service to those 26 firefighters, which Commissioner B.J. Calvey says it's important to honor those men not just today, but every day.
It's important that we have that generational knowledge and tribute to the preceding generations in the fire service that have paid the ultimate sacrifice.
Reporting in Springfield, Reagan Stoddard, Western Mass News.